the silent addiction to struggle. There is a question most people never ask themselves, especially when money is involved. Not how to earn more, not how to invest better, not how to escape debt, but something far more uncomfortable. What if the real problem is not a lack of opportunity, but an attachment to struggle itself? For many disciplined, resilient people, struggle is no longer a temporary phase of life. It has become an identity. From the outside, this identity looks admirable. Long hours, constant effort, endless sacrifice. A life built on pushing forward no matter the cost. Society praises this. It calls it strength. It calls it discipline. It calls it virtue. But beneath the praise, something subtle and dangerous begins to form. The mind starts associating pain with meaning. And once pain equals meaning, ease starts to feel suspicious. Over time, struggle becomes familiar. Familiar becomes comfortable. And comfortable becomes safe. Even when it produces the same disappointing results over and over again, the nervous system adapts to pressure. Stress becomes the default state. Calm feels foreign. Stillness feels empty. And when something feels empty, the mind rushes to fill it, often with problems. This is why some people work harder than everyone around them and still feel stuck financially. Not because they lack discipline, but because their discipline is unconsciously designed to maintain tension, not build stability. Every time clarity approaches, a pattern appears. Rushed decisions, overcommitment, emotional spending, saying yes when silence would be wiser, creating urgency where none is required. Externally, it looks like bad luck. Internally, it is repetition, a loop where struggle confirms identity and identity recreates struggle. Without pressure, they feel lost. Without difficulty, they feel undeserving. And so life remains heavy, not because it must be, but because the mind has learned to equate heaviness with value. This belief does not appear randomly. It is installed slowly by culture. We glorify hustle and mock rest. We admire exhaustion and ignore clarity. We teach people that being overwhelmed is a sign of importance, that if something feels easier, it must be inferior. That money earned calmly is somehow less honest than money earned through pain. But money does not respond to suffering. It does not reward exhaustion. It responds to perception, patience, boundaries, and emotional control. A mind trapped in survival mode cannot build wealth because it is too busy proving its worth through effort. It mistakes intensity for intelligence, movement for progress, pressure for purpose. This is why discipline alone is not enough. Discipline without clarity creates motion, not direction. It creates activity, not accumulation. It keeps people busy and broke in quieter ways, financially strained, mentally exhausted, emotionally tense. Awareness is the first real shift. Not learning how to do more, but recognizing when effort has become self-punishment. Understanding that unnecessary hardship is not noble. It is expensive. It costs time, focus, and long-term thinking. And until this addiction is exposed, the cycle continues. So before asking how to make more money, there is a deeper question that must be faced honestly. If your life became calmer, if pressure eased, if money stopped being a daily struggle, would you know who you are without the pain that once defined you? When struggle becomes a belief, addiction does not always look destructive. Sometimes it looks disciplined, organized, responsible. It hides behind full schedules, long hours, and constant effort. This is why the addiction to struggle is so difficult to recognize. It does not feel like a problem. It feels like virtue. Most people never decide to live this way consciously. The belief is installed slowly, quietly, through repetition, through environment, through what is praised and what is ignored. At some point early in life, the mind absorbs a simple but powerful rule. Safety must be earned. Approval must be justified. Stability must come with tension. No one usually explains this directly. It is learned through observation, watching adults who only relax after exhaustion, feeling emotional distance disappear only when effort is visible, noticing that calm moments are treated as pauses, never as destinations. Over time, the nervous system learns something dangerous. Rest is temporary, and pressure is permanent. This lesson does not stay emotional. It becomes physical. The body learns to stay alert even when nothing is wrong. Shoulders tighten without reason. Thoughts race without urgency. Silence feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels empty. And emptiness feels unsafe. When this belief is present, money does not bring peace. It brings vigilance. Even as income increases, the internal state remains unchanged. The numbers improve, but the mind does not trust them. Relief never fully arrives. Instead, there is waiting, anticipation, a quiet sense that something will go wrong. So behavior adapts to match the belief. Financial stability is not protected, it is tested. People overload themselves with obligations. They take on unnecessary pressure. They fill free time with work. They fill emotional gaps with spending. Not because they are irresponsible, but because calm feels unfamiliar. Money in this state is never allowed to rest. It moves constantly, earned with effort, released with urgency, saved briefly, then touched again. There is always a justification, an expense, a reason, a situation that feels important in the moment. The belief underneath never settles, so the finances cannot either. This creates a strange contradiction. The person is disciplined but exhausted, responsible but tense, earning more but feeling no safer. From the outside it looks like progress. From the inside it feels like survival. Culture reinforces this pattern relentlessly. We celebrate burnout and call it ambition. We admire people who are always busy and quietly distrust those who appear calm. We equate stress with importance, pressure with value. The message is subtle but constant. If life feels heavy, you must be doing something right. But beliefs shape perception, and perception shapes reaction. A mind trained to expect hardship will interpret neutral situations as threats. It will over-prepare, over-commit, overthink, and in doing so, it recreates the instability it fears, financially, emotionally, mentally. This is why money becomes a mirror rather than a solution. It reflects identity, not intelligence, expectation, not effort. If someone expects life to be hard, they will unconsciously structure their financial life around pressure, tight margins, constant urgency, no space to breathe. Breaking this cycle does not begin with earning more. It begins with questioning what feels normal. Who taught you that rest is dangerous? Who convinced you that ease must be temporary? Why does calm feel like something that needs to be defended instead of inhabited? Until this belief is exposed, discipline will continue serving struggle instead of freedom. Effort will create movement, not stability. And money will remain in survival mode, not because it has to be, but because the mind has never been shown another way to exist. How struggle silently kills opportunity. Most people believe they miss opportunities because they are not ready, not smart enough, not experienced enough, not confident enough. That belief feels logical, it feels safe, but it is rarely true. The truth is quieter, more uncomfortable. Many opportunities are not missed at all. They are rejected, silently, calmly, without anyone noticing. Opportunity rarely arrives with noise. It does not demand urgency. It does not create pressure. Most of the time it arrives gently, slowly, with space to think. And that is exactly why a mind conditioned to struggle fails to recognize it. To a struggle-trained mind, calm feels suspicious. Silence feels empty. Slow progress feels unreliable. Anything that does not require sacrifice feels undeserved. So the mind begins filtering reality in a very specific way. It scans for tension. It moves toward difficulty. It trusts what feels heavy and ignores what feels simple. Not because those paths are better, but because they feel familiar. Let me tell you a story that reveals how this happens. There was a man who built his entire life around endurance. He worked long hours, rarely rested. He was proud of being tired, proud of carrying pressure. His identity was simple. The harder it feels, the more valuable it must be. Financially, he was never collapsing, but never free. Every raise disappeared. Every moment of stability triggered restlessness. When things became quiet, he felt uncomfortable, as if he was doing something wrong. One day, an opportunity appeared. It was not dramatic. It was not exciting. It offered fewer hours, predictable income, slower growth at first, but stability over time, less stress, more clarity. It required patience, not sacrifice. His body reacted immediately: tightness, doubt, resistance. "This feels risky," he said. "It feels too easy," he thought. So he rejected it, not emotionally, rationally. He explained it away with logic. He said he wanted more growth, more challenge, more intensity. What he never admitted was this: the opportunity did not demand suffering, and his mind did not trust anything that didn't hurt. Years passed. He was still exhausted, still busy, still financially strained in quiet ways. Meanwhile, the opportunity he rejected compounded for others, slowly, calmly, without drama. Not through effort, but through patience. This is how opportunity disappears. Not through failure, not through mistakes, but through loyalty to struggle. Money is deeply affected by this pattern, because financial growth often requires waiting, holding, resisting the urge to interfere, letting systems work quietly in the background. But a mind addicted to effort feels useless in stillness. It needs movement to feel valuable, so it trades leverage for labor, time for urgency, strategy for exertion. The person stays active, but never positioned, busy, but never building momentum. There is also a fear beneath all of this, a quiet one, a fear that ease will expose emptiness. If life becomes calmer, if money becomes stable, if pressure disappears, who are you without the struggle? Opportunity threatens the identity built around endurance, and so it is unconsciously avoided, not because it is dangerous, but because it challenges who you believe you are. Culture reinforces this avoidance. We praise grind. We glorify stress. We reward exhaustion. We teach people that calm is laziness and silence is weakness. But real opportunity does not demand suffering. It demands perception, timing, emotional control. Two people can face the same situation and walk away with completely different outcomes. One feels pressure and fear. The other sees leverage and patience. The difference is not intelligence. It is nervous system conditioning. A regulated mind can wait. It can observe. It can choose. A dysregulated mind must act, even when action is unnecessary. And every unnecessary action drains financial potential. Slowly, invisibly, consistently. Opportunity is quiet. It does not chase attention. It requires silence to be recognized. And until the addiction to struggle loosens its grip, opportunity will continue to pass by. Not because it is rare, but because the mind is too noisy to see it. The moment the cycle could break. Every cycle has a weak point, a crack, a moment where repetition could end. Not with chaos, not with collapse, but with something far more subtle: silence. The opportunity to break the cycle of struggle almost never appears when life is hard. It does not arrive during crisis. It does not show up when pressure is extreme. It comes when things calm down, when there is space, when nothing urgent is demanding attention. And that is why most people miss it. For a mind conditioned to hardship, calm feels unnatural. When life becomes quieter, the body reacts before the mind does. Restlessness appears, anxiety without a clear cause, a sense that something is wrong, even when nothing is. This is the moment, the pause before repetition. Most people misinterpret it. They label it as boredom, as stagnation, as losing momentum. And because they have been taught that pressure equals progress, they rush to recreate urgency. They add work. They add goals. They add problems that do not need to exist. The cycle survives not through failure, but through impatience. There is usually a brief internal signal here, a subtle awareness, a thought that says, "You don't need to push right now." It suggests restraint, observation, stillness. But this voice is quiet. It does not feel heroic. It does not sound like discipline, so it is ignored. Let me show you how this moment looks in real life. Someone finally reaches a point of financial stability. Bills are covered. Income is predictable. For the first time in years, there is breathing room, no emergency, no immediate threat. Instead of relief, discomfort appears. They check their accounts more often. They feel uneasy spending time resting. They start searching for the next challenge. Something to fix, something to chase, something to optimize. Calm begins to feel like danger, so they interfere. They make unnecessary changes. They take on extra pressure. They commit to things they don't need. They reintroduce struggle, not because it is required, but because it feels familiar. This is the exact moment where the cycle could have ended. Money is deeply connected to this pause, because financial growth often depends on allowing systems to work quietly, letting time do its job, resisting the urge to control every detail. But for a struggle-trained identity, doing nothing feels like failure. So action is taken where patience was needed. This is why people reset their own progress, not intentionally, not recklessly, but reflexively. The nervous system has not learned how to exist without pressure, so it recreates it. Breaking the cycle requires something most people never practice: tolerating calm without filling it, staying present when nothing needs to be fixed, allowing stability to exist without justification. This is harder than working harder, because effort is familiar. Silence is not. Most people believe they fail because they lack discipline. In reality, they fail because they lack tolerance for peace. They confuse stillness with emptiness. They believe that if life becomes quieter, meaning must be disappearing. But what is disappearing is not purpose, it is noise. The cycle does not break when effort increases. It breaks when awareness expands, when the urge to recreate struggle is noticed and not obeyed, when the pause is respected instead of feared. This is the turning point, the moment almost everyone overlooks, not because it is hidden, but because it does not look like progress. And until this moment is recognized and honored, the cycle will continue, quietly, efficiently, repeating itself through money, through work, through life, and disguised as discipline. Choosing a different relationship with effort. At some point, the question quietly changes. It stops being about money. It stops being about work. It stops being about discipline. It becomes about relationship. Not your relationship with achievement, not your relationship with productivity, but your relationship with effort itself. For many people, effort is no longer something they use. It is something they are. If they are pushing, they feel alive. If they are tired, they feel valuable. If they are struggling, they feel aligned with who they believe they must be. But effort was never meant to be an identity. It was meant to be a tool, something applied with intention and released when no longer needed. When effort becomes identity, everything else bends around it. Time becomes pressure, rest becomes guilt, money becomes something to chase, not something to hold. Stability feels suspicious, calm feels temporary, silence feels uncomfortable, and so life becomes movement without consolidation, motion without accumulation, work without arrival. This is why so many disciplined people feel confused. They did what they were taught. They worked harder. They sacrificed more. They stayed resilient. And still the results never settled, not because they lacked strength, but because they never questioned the rule beneath the strength. The rule that whispers, if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't count. Money does not follow that rule. Money responds to alignment, to timing, to emotional regulation, to the ability to act and to stop, to the capacity to move and to wait. A calm mind sees differently. It notices margins others ignore. It recognizes opportunity without chaos attached to it. It allows things to grow quietly, without constant interference. This is not laziness, it is maturity. Choosing a different relationship with effort does not mean avoiding work. It means ending unnecessary struggle. It means no longer proving worth through exhaustion. It means allowing results to arrive without punishment attached to them. This shift does not announce itself loudly. There is no dramatic turning point, no moment of applause. It begins in small, almost invisible choices, pausing before reacting, waiting instead of rushing, choosing clarity over intensity, letting silence exist without filling it. At first, this feels uncomfortable, because the old identity resists disappearance. The one built on endurance, on pressure, on survival. Letting go of that identity can feel like losing control. But what is actually being released is noise. Over time, money begins to reflect this change, not magically, not instantly, but consistently. Decisions become cleaner, reactions soften, pressure decreases, stability has room to grow, not because effort vanished, but because effort became intentional. And this is the quiet truth most people never hear. You are not here to struggle endlessly. You are not here to prove your worth through pain. You are here to build, to stabilize, to accumulate. And that requires something stronger than force. It requires restraint. So the final question is not about ambition, it is about tolerance. Can you tolerate a quieter life and without rushing to create noise? Can you allow calm to last without feeling the need to destroy it? Because when the noise fades, what remains is not emptiness, it is clarity. And clarity changes everything, including money.